And so, here we are, back from Walmart, and basically, I checked out, as you saw in the in the rest of the video, I checked out the 3x9 Tasco, which was the cheapest for $50, but money was no object. This scope right here, when I got it, was on sale for $45, and it retails for about $60, and if you're good, you can get it for $40 or $50. But the nice thing is, see how the front is amber? This is an amber coating. It's iridium coating, okay? The ones you buy elsewhere are just silver, much cheaper coating, reflective coating. And that makes this usually about 40 at tops. I've seen people buy reflex sights for as cheap as 25 without batteries. But who wants to buy a cheapo anyway? So I looked at this. It's basically like a Tasco 4-power, except it's a 3x7. It's 20 millimeter, which is not a really big field of view, but if you think about it, you're going to throw another sight down the side so that you could use that as your backup, either emergency sight rig or for a closer range attack, maybe within 80 feet. You could easily do that. There's lots of ways around having a high power scope, because as you know, at close range you lose your field of view, and that's why a secondary sight rig is good. But for right now, we're just going to deal with the variable sight rig. Here's the Tasco. They had one of these out of the box, and I was trying it out, and I was like, shit, I gotta get one. I'm not going to find a variable sight. And when I was young, I shot pellet guns and 22s and stuff like that. You know, the 4-power is great, but to have that variable 3x7, shit, that's awesome. So here we are, opening it up. It's unopened, okay? For what I hear, it's discontinued. Maybe I'm wrong. Walmart employees are that reliable. So here we go. There it is. It's light. As a matter of fact, it's even lighter than that, which has a big solid block of aluminum. Yeah, maybe you can see it. You can see that solid block right there. Yeah, and this is like solid aluminum. This is like cast aluminum, all that. I mean, that's heavy. This could actually be lighter. Whoa, that's crazy. So we're going to make a determination. Can this actually be used on here? Could be yes, could be no. We'll find out. Okay, so I'm back here, and I want to change the position of the rails of this Tasco 3x7. Now, what I want to do is a 3x7 by 20, and it's very lightweight. So I got a stubby Phillips screwdriver, and I'm going to open this ring right here if it will let me. It's kind of tight, and remember these are aluminum parts, so you don't want to over tighten them, and strip them. There's that right there. Okay. So there and there. Yeah, not quite, huh? So I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to have to, and it's going to look kind of funny. It is. Okay. I'm going to have to take this now. There's the bottom ring. And I'm going to move it close to the vertical adjuster right there. Maybe too close for comfort, but I got to do it. One of the nice things about Nerf modding that I find, other than having to deal with shitpost bitches, happens, you know, is that it teaches you to deal with around limitations that normally in other industries, such as the firearm industry, you never ever run into. In an industry where guns cost anywhere from several hundred to several $1,000s, you have a lot more resources to work with. A scope that costs $50, even a few $100s, is not a big deal. However, something like this is a big deal. Now I have to determine if I can mount this as such, or if I'm going to have to grind this down to make it fit. And I'm willing to do that simply because I want the scope. Now we do not want to bend our rings. We don't want to mess it up. Okay. This is simply a scope made for a pellet gun, a 22 rimfire. Nothing all that spectacular. But when you start getting into the outer echelons of ranges and you are trying to go longer range, you got to do stuff like that. Okay, so what do we got to do to try this out? I'll be back in a second. Back. If all else fails, break it off. Yeah. You got it. So I got this nice piece of packing that came with my scope. I'm just simply going to take this, and you may notice I'm doing this on an old one. I'm not doing this on a new rail, and there's a reason. If I break it, no big loss. Okay, off it goes. Off it goes. Just simply just take out the spot where the claws for the scope mounts would be, and just rip it to shit. In this, what I do if I get stuck here, and yes, you could do this with a Dremel tool, but I don't have one, is you just take the edge, a real sharp edge of your pair of needle nose pliers, since this is like tooling steel, and you simply just grind that away. You can simply take that, if that's not sharp enough, pair of scissors. But believe it or not, if you apply enough force, you can actually sharpen things up, even like inside of barrels or critical places where you want to up the tolerances of certain things. And just, if something has to clear, you can just take your, here, let me show you. For example, let's say I have something that's not clearing that, and I just need to take this little square corner off. I could do something like that. And you can just file a little bit of plastic away at a time, and you actually are beveling that. It's real nice. Then you can come back with some 320 or 400, and that's what you do. Okay, so let me show you this trick. Okay, a little machining trick here, and I'm going to try to make it a top bevel so I can put the scope mounts in. Please excuse the paint and the crudeness here. It is a used Nerf rail site. It's not new at all. And do remember, a lot of this isn't going to be seen. And 3D printing, well, that looks a lot uglier, believe it or not. And that's acceptable in the Nerf community, since compared to buying a lot of mounts and equipment that firearms use, it is actually cheaper in a lot of cases just to 3D print stuff and say the hell with it. Alright, now I'm going to break out the scissors, and I'm going to trim it. I do not recommend doing it this way. It's just the way I do things. Ta-da! Now why do I mod this way? Why do I break out the simple pair of scissors? I don't break out the Dremel tool or this or that or a sander or this or that. Why? Why would I do that? Because when I was a kid, that's how I did things. You know, and it's just tradition, that's all. I mean, tradition is not a good reason to follow anything, religion included. Slowly based on tradition and not actual correct belief or anything. But at the same time, sort of the spirit of modding is just to improvise. So sometimes, I mean, seriously, I think that people that go really high end, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes they kind of lose their roots, they lose their touch, you know. But let's face it, you can cut yourself weapons. But you can cut yourself with a radial arm saw, or a Dremel tool, or a grinder, especially a meat grinder. Yeah, you can get yourself in trouble with that. Okay, so here we go. you can see now, it takes a lot longer to test this out for the simple reason that, oh, but look at that, first try even, first try. Okay. Blow it out of your threads. You don't want aluminum or plastic in your threads when you do this stuff. Oh, look at that. That's it. Why didn't I just throw a pickinite rail on here, or a weaver model or something? Why? Why would I resort to this kind of thing? Well, one, it's just not nerfy enough. If you want to be tactical, that's fine. If you want to be nerfy, no. Number two, it's sort of the old school way of doing it. I did this on so many projects I had, so many things, you know.